Hi, ladies. Thank you so much, Nuka. It's good to see you. We don't get to see anyone in the office anymore. So I'm Georgia Close. I'm the Director of Development and Strategic Initiatives here at Free Wheelchair Mission. And I have with me today the lovely Melanie Raushcer. She is kind of a big deal. She has, her clients are literally the ducks and the angels, and the list goes on. So thank you for giving us your wonderful presence and your talent and your design abilities, because Lord knows I don't have them. And so thank you for being with us. We so appreciate you, and I am so thrilled to be out of the house and be somewhere else. So I will pass it over to you. One more thing, you can find Melanie after this. If you absolutely love what we're doing here today, you can find her at bellablooms.com and on Instagram.
There's a dash.
Oh, there's a dash. Yeah, Bella-Blooms.com.
Yes.
Okay, Bella-Blooms.com, and then also on Instagram, it's Bella Blooms FDS. Floral Design Studio is what that stands for. So Bella Blooms FDS on Instagram. And we're gonna take the next 30 minutes. We're gonna be building this beautiful array of things. I'm just gonna call them things right now because it looks like I went out and stole a bunch of things from someone's yard to me. We're gonna be building this into something really beautiful. So take it away, my friend.
Okay, so be sure that your foam is wet. At some point, you can do this now or you can do it later. Just put a little bit of water in your pot or your planter. And this is something you're going to want to do for as long as you want your arrangement to live, is to keep your foam wet. We're going to start with the succulent. We're going to leave the succulent in its little pot. You'll be able to plant your succulent in the ground or put it in a cute pot and put it in your home, sort of thing. And then you can Google on how to take care of your succulent, because you need to move it around.
It's a big deal. You actually have to do something for succulents.
You do. You can't just let it sit there forever. Okay, so what we're going to do is scooch your foam over to one side of your planter, so you have for your succulent. We're just you can have it kind of at an angle if you want. If you're going to have your arrangement in the center of a table, then maybe you want your succulent to be upright so that it's the same from all sides. If you're going to put it like on a credenza, so you're only going to see mostly the front, you can angle it towards the front of your planter facing you. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to have my succulent face you so you can see it.
So wait, it doesn't need to be in the water.
Doesn't need to be in the water.
Okay.
You actually don't want it in the water because you're going to eventually want to give it a tiny bit of water from the top, and then you want to let it drain. So, and you really shouldn't have to keep watering your succulent for the next several weeks that you have this arrangement. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to green our planter, green our foam. Okay, so there's no rhyme or reason on which greenery you should use first. The cedar, this one's cedar.
So there's like 3 kinds here.
Yes.
And the cedar is it's kind of like the light green one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the cedar. So not the one that looks like a beautiful horsetail.
Nope.
Not the one that looks like your Christmas tree.
Nope.
But this one.
Correct. And you're going to cut them to whatever length you're going to, however flowy you want your arrangement to look. So,
so it could be like really short.
You can make it really short. So if you do this, you're going to have to fill a lot in. Okay, so this is where we're going to start trimming things. And I like to start on the end to see
opposite end,
how long I'm going to want my arrangement to be. Okay. And you don't have to just do one greenery at a time. So I'm going to do the edges first. And since you have water in your planter, you can stick these in without it being in the foam. Okay. So this can just go into the water.
Love it.
Or you can stick it in the foam, either way. Now there's two sides to your greenery. I don't know if you can tell.
Yep.
There's the prettier side, and then you have the side where the stem is showing more.
Yeah.
So if you're doing the frontward thing like I was trying to do here, you want to make sure that you're putting your greenery with the pretty part facing out. So my succulent is facing you. I'm going to put the pretty part of my greenery facing you.
And it's kind of like random, right? Wherever you think it looks good.
Wherever you think it looks good. I don't love to use a stem where I've cut the pretty tip off.
Okay.
So now we can use these as individual pieces. So you can cut them individually off like that.
Yeah.
And then later on, when we have little holes in our arrangement, we can fill in with these extra little pieces. Yeah, we're going to green the whole thing. So you can switch back and forth to whichever greenery you want to use.
Okay.
We're basically trying to cover the black foam. So for my pot is showing on the side here. I'm going to fill in with some greenery on the side. Okay, so
sorry, I'm catching up now.
What you're going to want to do is take a look at your arrangement from all sides. So I'm going to go ahead and turn mine around so I can see if I'm missing anything over here. If it's looking real bare back here and you're going to be putting up it against a wall, then that's fine. But if it's going in the center of your table, then you're going to want to make sure that you save some greenery to fill it. Are you putting yours against the table, on the table? In the middle of the table or against a wall?
I'm thinking in the middle of a table.
Okay.
So
then you're going to start needing to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
One tip, if you're really tall and you're making your arrangement, normally we're standing, making our flower arrangement, and the top looks really beautiful. And then you sit down and then you see the edges and they're very bare. So you want to see it from all angles, and especially if you're doing like a centerpiece, because you've been sitting. Yeah, so you'll want to see it from all angles so that you can make sure that you fill in all the necessary gaps or unnecessary gaps. So for your greenery, if you want to keep it alive and fresh until Christmas, or maybe even New Year's, you can get a water bottle with a spritzer and spray it from the top. And then make sure you keep your foam moist. Okay, so the next thing we can work on is the preserved ruscus. So this is Italian ruscus. It's been bleached. Don't ask me how to do it, I don't know. This is becoming a trend to have dried and preserved florals in your fresh arrangements or completely all dried arrangement. As if you want an arrangement that lasts literally forever and you don't like silks, you use dried or preserved. So we're going to cut this in several pieces, and then we're just going to put them wherever you like. I think the top is the prettiest. I'm going to cut here. I'm going to cut this little guy off, and I'm going to give him front and center right here on the top. And you can fan out your pieces. They almost feel like there's like a little wire in there. There isn't, but it feels that way. So you can be gentle, but you can fan out the pieces so they're not just straight up and down. So I'm going to get a couple more pieces out of this guy. You might have two pieces in your kit. All the same. Just fan out. This ruscus does not need to be in water, so if you're wanting just to kind of stick it in somewhere where you don't have a piece of foam, that's totally fine, because they're just going going to live or be dead forever. So it's fine. Okay, now we're going to work with our holly. It is very mean, so be careful with it. I want my red berries to show, so I'm going to either keep it, I'm not that long, but keep it kind of long, cut off any pieces that are at the bottom. Something that you should know for a regular flower arrangement, if you're like a lover of flowers and when you go to Trader Joe's and you always pick up flowers and you make your own flower arrangement at home, is you want to make sure there is no greenery, no leaves in the water. It causes bacteria and your flowers will die a lot faster. So you always want to clean off the bottom, always.
Okay.
All right.
I never knew that. That's what, yeah. It's so funny. It should be an obvious thing, but yeah, every time I get flowers at home, I'm like, oh, why do they get all grimy at the bottom?
Yeah.
It's because they haven't cleaned off.
You gotta clean them. Yep. So I think I'm gonna leave my holly long. You're welcome to cut it off so your berries are showing, and then using the holly leaves elsewhere, but I'm gonna leave mine long. All right, now let's do pine cones. So what I like to do is start to cluster my focal pieces. So the focal pieces here are going to be a pine cone, a cotton, and a rose. So your cotton tape, just cut your tape off. Separate them. And a rose. And you can take if you have water tubes, take your water tubes off your roses. So on my piece, I'm going to find three spots that I'm going to put my focal clusters. I think I'm going to do one here, one with my holly, and one on this side. So kind of make them uneven. You don't want to do clump, clump, clump and make them like perfect in a line. You're going to want to like stagger them. Okay, and if you're having a centerpiece in the middle of a table, make sure one of your little clusters is at least on one of the clusters at least on one side. So one here, and then one kind of on the top-ish. Now you do not have to do it this way. You can do pine cones anywhere, rose anywhere, cotton anywhere. They do not have to be clustered. It's just the look I like. So you do whatever you like. So anyway, so I'm going to start with my pine cone.
So you've got 3, what did you call them? Focal clusters.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got kind of 3 of those going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When you get to your rose, I'm going to show you roses really quick. This is another important thing if you're going to, again, Trader Joe's or whatever to pick out and grab your flowers. You're going to want to peel off the guard petals. So these petals that are on the outside that are kind of green, kind of brown, wrinkled, your flower isn't dying. These are just protecting the prettier petals. So you just pull them off, just like that. If your rose happens to be tight, let's see that rose. So yours is a little bit more closed, that one's a little bit more closed. Let me see one of these. So something fun you can do after you've cleaned it is you can give it a little spin and it opens up the petals a little bit. This isn't super COVID friendly, but if you're there by yourself, you could blow into your rose as well, and it'll open up your rose. Those are a few little tricks.
So if you do that, if you're opening up like a tighter rose, will it last the same amount of time?
So as long as you're not breaking the petals, then yes, it should last. It should last the same amount of time. It just because it's closed doesn't mean it's going to last forever.
Gotcha. Yeah. I definitely have that misconception. If they're closed, they're going to last an extra few weeks.
By the way, this is called a Tibet. This white rose is, the name of it is Tibet. It's my favorite white rose because it's not yellowy. Because a lot of the white roses are kind of yellow.
I should have asked you this before. What is your
Favorite rose?
flower?
Favorite flower?
Of everything that you create with. Yeah, what is your favorite?
I get that question a lot, but you just said that I create with. Because my favorite flower is an echinacea, which is like, it's like an inside out daisy, which is weird.
It's called an echinacea?
Yeah, it has like a bulb. It's the little pollen middle is sticking out of the flower.
Okay.
Versus being flat with the daisy, and then the petals kind of like droop down.
Wow.
Those are my favorite. Also called coneflower.
Is that actually the
So do it up
flower?
here.
Oh, do it up here. Okay. Is that actually the flower they use for like the
I have no idea.
immune supplement echinacea?
I don't know actually, but I love that flower and I don't get to use it very often. So
Where do you find that?
I've only seen them at Nayesh. Okay, so let me tell you about these roses. It's a misconception to have to cut at an angle. People think you have to cut things at an angle. Did you find it?
It is used. Certain species are used for the echinacea.
Aw, I love that. Look up, after this is over, go look up the echinacea flower. Okay. It's Melanie's favorite.
It's my favorite.
And some species are used for like the supplement. It's immune system supplement. Okay.
Yeah.
Go look that up after we're done here.
I like the pink and brown one. So it's a misconception to have to cut at an angle. I don't know if anyone's even thought about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it gives it, I guess they used to think that if you did that, the more water would be able to get into the flower, but I guess it's been proven that's not the case. So no longer have to cut at an angle, but I still do. It doesn't really make any difference.
So wait, you took off all your...
I took off my greenery because I am going to keep my rose kind of
You're
short.
gonna keep them low.
If you were going to keep yours long, you can leave your greenery on.
Okay.
Yeah. You just want to make sure there's no greenery going into the foam because you're going to break up your foam.
Right.
Oh, and another thing with your roses, it doesn't matter with the rest of this stuff really, but when you're using a fresh product like a rose and you're using foam, you stick your flower into the foam and then you pull out your flower, do not put it back into the same hole that you created because now there's an air pocket and your flower will die faster.
Okay.
So find a new hole find a blank slate of foam to stick your flower in. Okay. And you don't want it to go all the way through the foam to the other end. You want to make sure that it's inside the foam getting water. So don't forget to clean your petals.
So wait, can I put the rose just in the water?
If you keep water in your planter,
And
yes.
Okay.
Also, you can keep your rose in your water tube. So when you're done with all your pieces, get a good look from all your angles. Make sure you don't see any of your black foam. If you see too much of your little succulent pot, you can maybe pick up a little moss or something like that and cover the edges with some moss.
Is that it?
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So all your little pieces, if you want to keep them, you can, put them in a little, you call that a little satchel thing, like hang in your bathroom or something.
I love that.
Yeah.